when I came back to the Netherlands, I just started greeting all the black people that I see on the street. It's like, hey, how are you going? Hey, how are you? How are you? Do you know me? No, I don't know you, but I love you. I love you. Love seeing your face.
What I am is of my mindset. Yo, I'm in control.
How did you find the topic today at Afrikadag?
It's a topic that is being discussed in migration.
Yeah.
A lot in the Netherlands right now.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of right wing or extreme right, or how do you call them? They're coming up a lot.
Yeah.
And they're trying to really stop the migration, or I don't know what they're really trying to do, but they're trying to do something about it. So it has now the Dutch country divided.
Yes.
And I'm one of the comedians that is really trying to connect everybody together through humor, through laughter, through really showing a lot of people that we're not that different from another.
If you don't mind sharing, what is your history with migration as well?
Well, first of all, I'm eating injera, and then you know,
That's the history.
then you know that's the history where I'm from.
Yeah.
And my mom, if my mom sees me, if I'm eating injera with a spoon,
Yeah.
she will kill me. But I just want the clean hands. please forgive me for eating injera with a spoon. Don't do that. Don't never do that. No. But it's my history is I was born in Ethiopia, in Diridawa, on the east side, near the border of Djibouti, Somalia. So I'm Ethiopian who speaks Somali language. So in Ethiopia we have many diversities. We have over 60 dialects, and we have over 5 languages that we speak. The main language is Amharic, and then we have Tigrinya, Omorinyo. Then you have also Somali language that is also being spoken.
Yeah.
So I'm a refugee to the Netherlands during the war in the 80s, late 80s. Came to the Netherlands, and me and my family, we just came here and we started our lives. And we had a lot of help from a lot of good people. A lot of good white people helped us. But when you see, when you come to a new country like the Netherlands, and you're in a white bubble, and I was like, until I was 20, 21, 22, I was in a white bubble. I thought like, oh, this is my life. Until I met other Africans, other people having struggles with racism, with a lot of struggles with poverty and stuff, and I never saw it because I was raised on the east side of the Netherlands as well. So you don't see that many colored people. So when you come to the big cities as Amsterdam and Den Haag, Rotterdam, then you see like, hey, there are more people from Eritrea, there are more people from Ethiopia or from Suriname or Moroccan. So you see all those diversities coming all together. And that's one of the first moments that I really felt at home again, when I was about 20, 21. Because then I saw so many people that looked like me. And after that, I decided to go back for a trip to Ethiopia. That was beautiful. Going back to Addis Ababa, I still remember I was one of the streets, and it's a wobbly street, and I saw like thousands of people walking down the street that looked like me.
I know the feeling.
The feeling is like, I was like, wow, this is how every white person feels every day.
Every day, there's a privilege to it.
There is a privilege to it, and we take that so much for granted. So after that, when I came back to the Netherlands, I just started greeting all the black people that I see on the street. It's like, hey, how are you going? Hey, how are you? How are you? Do you know me? No, I don't know you, but I love you. I love you. Love seeing your face. That's beautiful.
What do you think of the idea that because migration now has been made in a bubble?
No. It's not a bubble. It's a marketing tool.
Yeah.
It's for a lot of people, they want to profit out of migration, not in the sense of the migration itself, but the product of like, we need to talk about migration because then we get enough votes. We need to make an ad. We need to have sponsors. So it's like not even with migration itself, but it's also with racism. And if you look at it, just recently, finally it is established in the European Union that Afrophobia is a real racism. And finally we can now prosecute people that are doing these things to Africans at the moment. Because it's one thing to say like, oh, I'm for migration, but then you go back home and you go like, hey, I don't like this Syrian guy. Because it's not only about Africans, it's just about Syrians, every other person. Yeah.
What do you have as, let's say, someone who came here as a refugee? Do you think that it is right that all, let's say, people of color or people who are different are sort of stereotyped as people who illegally came into the country?
Of course, because no one is illegal.
Yeah.
No one is illegal, and because if you look at the world is given to us.
Yes.
And if you're that lucky to be born in one side of the world or the other side of the world, shouldn't be a part of like, oh, I have more rights than you or something.
Yeah.
And for one thing, I just want to clarify it, and I want to say it right. Just recently, my mom is in Djibouti right now, and but we send to our relatives, and like any other African, we send money to our families back at home, and we try to provide for a lot of people. But just recently, they sharpened the rules of East Africans and to really counter like terrorist attacks or funding terrorists or all that stuff. And I'm like, so I'm at one of the stations at the kiosk sending money, and this lady is asking me like, where do you live? What kind of work you do? How do you get the money? Who are you sending it to? Who is that from you? I'm like, what? If I'm sending money to America right now, what is one of the corrupt nations at the moment?
Yes.
Nobody asked me anything.
Yeah, but if you're sending to East
Yeah,
Africa,
and on top of that, even in Europe right now, if you look at like, it's a funny thing. If you look at the Europe always sends out a holiday list, like all the safe countries that you can go to.
yes.
Africa is not. It's always like 21 or 20, like low places.
Yeah.
But America had last year like more fatalities with shootings and all of that stuff. So it's more dangerous to go to America right now
Definitely.
than Africa.
Sorry,
So,
America.
so like we need to change the rules of like, okay, where
because the rules should be based on danger and not
And
the fact
that-
that someone is from
is
a
data.
particular
Yes,
country.
yes.
Because when we deal with data
Yeah.
and the idea of danger,
It's the same thing.
definitely there are places
Yeah.
where it can be considered
Yeah.
more dangerous.
The same as right now when you look at the situation in Sudan, where the president is now stepping down, and all of Europe is crying for like, oh, we need to take him for the Den Haag for the tribunal. We need to take him there for the genocide, and maybe it is, maybe he's not. But if you look at like the American people right now, they're not even in the Geneva Convention of tribunals.
Yeah.
They don't want like the world to try them for the courts that we have.
Yeah.
So it's like you wanna like do it
Yeah.
right, do it right.
And especially the timing now, because just recently the prosecutor of the ICC is not allowed to actually go into the US. They revoked her visa.
Yeah.
And it's things
It's like the double standard that is going on, and that has to do with the migration perspective. Because within the Netherlands as well, what many people don't know is that the European Union is sending money to African countries to stop the migration of refugees.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that in Libya, for example, you get a lot of rebels or whatever get money from European nations to hold Africans in cages. And slavery is back then, because you're funding through indirect slavery. So, and that's the funny thing when that's not funny, but if you look at it from a perspective, from a comedian side, and you speak to a lot of Dutch people, go like, hey, this is my country. No, it's not your country, because the Dutch nation was built on refugees. Because the Dutch nation is a refugee country from its origin. So and it has always welcomed refugees.
Do you feel more Ethiopian or more Dutch?
No, I'm always an Ethiopian man. So this is the conversation that many Dutch people ask me as well. Like, are you Dutch or are you Ethiopian? No, I'm an Ethiopian. I'm an African man. I can never change that. I can never change that from the looks of it. So, and I always ask the same question back to a lot of white people. I always ask them, like, look, I came to this country when I was 3 years old. And if I would do it reversed, if you would move from the age of 3 to China, would you ever become a Chinese? They say no. So how I ever can become a Dutchman? And then they go like, Yeah. That's an interesting note. That's an interesting note. That's something interesting that you're saying. I said, no, I am an African man, and when you accept me for the diversity that I am, and we both are diverse from each other, then we can really have respect for each other and also respect for our cultures. Because many times we go into the conversation like, oh, we are all equal. No, we're not all equal. We're not all equal. We're all different people with different upbringings, different cultures, and we see each other different. And so you cannot say that we are all equal. No, we want to go to a certain society where everybody is equal, but we're still working on that.
Thank you very much. Did you like the video? So kindly subscribe, like us, and leave a comment below if there's something you want to express. From me to you, be good to yourself.
What I am is of my mindset. Yo, I'm in control, no drive test.